All right, morning it is to you and to me as we look at mathematics this morning. It's Mamu with Jarvis, and we're still on our grade 12 series looking at the NECO, just concluded 2020 NECO examination. And we've done question 1 to 30, and we are now on question 31. Now, something I also want you to take note of is that I always make it a policy not to look at question papers before I have to solve. Why? The reason is I want to put myself in the same examination situation as the students in the hall. If this were to be an exam I'm writing, how would it look like? So some of these questions I'm solving them for the first time. I've had this question for quite a while, but just kept it waiting for an opportunity to solve. I love doing that, and it also puts pressure on you as a teacher, so that when you experience 1 or 2 setbacks, you're able to tell, okay, this is what I've seen in this question, and subsequently you do the right approach to take. Now, having said that, let's go to question 31. It said if x varies directly as y, x varies directly as y, this is the right up. And by implication, this will mean that x is equal to ky, where k is the constant of what? Proportionality. And x is equal to 4 when y is equal to 6. What is the value of x when y is equal to 12? You must look for the value of k first before you proceed. X is 4, y is 6, y is 6. Okay, let's make k the surface of the formula. So that means x is equal to ky would mean that k is equal to x over y. What is x? What is y? So k will be equal to what? 2 over 3. So it means that x essentially is equal to 2 over 3y. This is what we call the relationship connecting x and y. Now, the next thing we want to look at is what is x? Now, x when y is 12. So we make a substitution of 12 where we have y, and invariably x will then be equal to 2 over 3 times 12. And that will be what? 8. So x will be 8 in that setup, and for that exam, the option is what? C. Now for question 32, we are told to find the quadratic equation whose roots are. Now the roots, when they say roots, it means x is equal to what? 2 root 2, and x is equal to what? 3 root 2. That's what it means. The root is this. Now we would solve backwards. So this will be x minus 2 root 2 equal to 0, and x minus 3 root 2 will be equal to 0. If this is equal to 0 and this is equal to 0, it means when I multiply these two, I'm going to get what? 0 also. So x will now multiply x minus 3 root 2, and negative 2 root 2 will multiply x minus 3 root 2 equal to 0. So what happens? You open up the bracket, x squared minus 3x root 2 minus 2x root 2 plus negatives and negative will give me positive. 2 times 3 will give me 6 times root 2 times root 2 will give me what? 2. So 6 times 2 will give me what? 12. I'll come again. Negative times negative will give me positive. 2 times 3 will give me 6. And then root 2 times root 2 will give me 2. So 6 times 2 gives me 12. And as such, x squared minus 5x root 2, 3x root 2 minus 3x root 2 minus 2x root 2 will give me this, plus 12 equal to what? 0. So that is the equation we are told to look for. And as such, if you see something they've done here, they've been a little tricky in their option. Now, they've been a little tricky in their option. So the answer will be C, x squared minus 5x root 2 equal to minus 12. You see the way they have placed the answer now. So if we go by the options we have there, C will be the correct option. So C is the correct answer to that question. So that's for question 32. So let's go to question 33. I think the questions in this setup are not very troublesome. In question 33, you're given an equation 9x squared minus 9x equal to negative 2. The question reads, if alpha and beta or beta are the roots of equation 9x squared minus 9x equal to negative 2, find the value of 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. Now, this is the equation you're given. You need to write it in its standard form. Now, what's the next thing you do? You write such that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So I'll divide each of the elements by 9. And that will give me x squared minus x plus 2 over 9 equal to 0. Are we together? Now, this is the position of sum of roots. This is the position of, this is sum of roots. This is product of roots. When they say sum of roots, they mean alpha plus beta. And that is equal to what? Minus b over a. The product of roots is actually what? C over a. Alpha, beta. So what do we have here? The coefficients here, so alpha plus beta in this setup will be what? Minus what? Bracket open, 1. Hope I'm right with that. Alpha plus beta, negative alpha minus beta is equal to what? Negative this one. So what is b over a in this setup? It is what? Negative 1. And that will give you 1. So alpha plus beta is what? 1. Now what about alpha beta? Alpha beta is this position. And that will be what? 2 over 9. So this is what we have gotten so far. Now, the next thing now is to try to apply this knowledge to get what we are asked to look for. We are told to find 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. By your simple simplification, this will be alpha beta, which will give me beta plus alpha. And from your knowledge of binary operations, we know that addition is commutative rather. However you write, if I say 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2, the answer will be the same. So this can also be alpha plus beta over alpha beta. So what is alpha plus beta? 1. What is alpha beta? 2 over 9. This will toggle and your final answer becomes 9 over 2. So that question, the answer to that question is, this is something as 4 over 5, which is what? A as your answer. So the answer to this question is what? A. There's also another approach. I've seen students use different approach to solve this question, but this is my best approach. I like this approach better. So If you're used to the other approach and you're still getting the same answer, there's no problem. That's why it is mathematics. We don't necessarily have to follow the same approach all the time. Right? Okay, so that's for question 33. All right, so let's go to 34. In question 34, we have a trapezium such that this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, this is 12, this is 16, this is 30 degrees. And we are told to find the area. Now we know that area of trapezium is sum of parallel side, which sometimes you see half a plus b times height. The height in question there is not just height, but actually what is called perpendicular height. So how do you get the perpendicular height? You start by drawing this here. If from here to here is 12, and the whole length is 16, means this will be what? 4. So we need to get h. So we can use our trigonometric ratio, and that will be tan. So tan 30 degrees will be equal to h over 4, meaning that h will be equal to what? 4 tan 30 degrees. What is tan 30 degrees? Tan 30 degrees is essentially root 3 over 3, or 4 times 0.5774. This, because I've been using it over the years, it has stuck to my head. So maybe I should write that very well. So this is equal to 4 times 0.5774. So I can do the multiplication here. That's what I'm going to get. Centimeters. So that's for the height. So what is the area now? The area will now be equal to half into 12 plus 16 times 2.3. That will give me what? 28 divided by 2 times 2.3. That will be 14 times 2.3. So 14 times 2.3, what does that give you? That will give you 42, 28. That will give you 32 point. That should give you 32 point. I hope I have not made a mistake somewhere. Let's confirm. All right, I think I've seen. I think I made a mistake somewhere. This is 6. Carry of 1, 9. Carry of 2, 0. Carry of 3, 3. Right, so this ought to be 3, 1. So this will be 3, 1. And that will be 3, 1. So let's adjust that. That will be for 2.31 times 14. And that will give me 429. Hope I'm right with that. And that will give me 231. So that will be 2 3, 2, 3, 4. Right. Okay, so that's the answer. So the answer will be D. If you use a calculator, you're going to get 3, 3. But since I'm using manual and I've done some approximation, that answer will suffice. So that's for question 34. All right, that's for 34. So let's go to 35. In question 35, question 35. How do you handle this question? You will need to draw another parallel line that will pass through this point. So that this point, you can call this A, you can call this B, such that X is equal to A plus B. Now, there's something we call co-interior angles in maths, co-interior angles. Let's call here F. So from the diagram, B plus 152 is equal to 180 degrees. We call them allied angles. CF parallel to DE. Allied angles. If this line is parallel to this line, these two angles will sum up to what? 180 degrees. So what does that mean? B will be equal to 180 minus 152, and that will give me 28 degrees. In the same vein, A plus 140 will be equal to 180 degrees. Same reason, allied angles. AB parallel to FC. AB is parallel to what? FC. So in that setup, A will be equal to 180 minus 140, and that will be 40 degrees. So with that done, it will follow that X will now be equal to A plus B. What is A? 40. What is B? 28. And the answer becomes what? 68 degrees. So the answer will be what? 68 degrees for question 35. And that option will be B. Okay. That option will be what? B. All right. So that's for question 35. All right, 36. Find the gradient of the line joining -8, -2 and -7, -4. So gradient will be equal to x y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this will be, this usually is the y2, so -4 minus -2 over -7 minus -8. So what does that give you? This will give you -4 plus 2 over -7 plus 8. And that will give you -2 over 1. That will be -2. So the gradient in this setup will be -2, and that is what? E. So what about question 37? In 37, you are told that you have a circle with center and this angle is 206 degrees. Arrow, Q, P, and O. We are told to find PQ arrow. Let me call that X. You are told to find what? PQ arrow. Now, to find PQ arrow, you need to find this angle first. Let me call this Y. So using notations, as in diagram, Y plus (206) will be equal to 360 degrees. Angle at a point will give me that value, right? This will now be Y 60 minus 206. So Y will now be equal to what? 154 degrees. All right. Okay, so we have gotten Y. Now, 2x is equal to Y. 2x is equal to Y. What's the reason? Angle at center equal to 2 times angle at circumference. That's the reason for that. The angle at the center is equal to 2 times the angle at the circumference. So with that said, it means that 2x will be equal to 154. X will now be 154 divided by 2, and that will be 77 degrees. So the answer to that question will be 77 degrees, and that is what? A. 38. 2 towns or 2 points, P and arrow, are 9 kilometers north and 12 kilometers west of Q. So it means the reference point is Q. 9 kilometers north is what? P. 12 kilometers west is what? R. Now calculate P arrow. This will be a right angle. And what they want you to do there is to use your Pythagoras rule. So P arrow squared will be equal to 12 squared plus 9 squared. 144 plus 81, 225, and P arrow will be the square root of 225, which is what? 15 kilometers. Are you seeing that? So that answer will be A. This one is too cheap now. This question is just too cheap. Right. So that's for 38. What about 39? The volume of a sphere is 360 centimeter cube. Calculate its radius to the nearest what? 1 decimal place. Simple. Volume of sphere will be equal to 4 pi arrow cubed over 3. So it means 4 pi arrow cubed over 3 will be equal to 360. So that means that arrow cube will be equal to 360 times 3 divided by 4 times 22 over 7. So we can cancel out 4 here 1, 4 here 90. 2 here 11, 2 here 45. So 45 times 3 will give me 135 times this 7 over 11. So what is 135 times 7? 125 times 7. What does that give you? This will give me 5. Carry of 3, 4. Carry of 2, that'll be 9. So 945. So that'll be 945 divided by 11. So that means that the radius will be, this will give you 88 plus 55. So that's approximately 80 something. That would be like 80, let's see. This is 935, remainder 10. So that's approximately 86. Approximately 86 centimeter. So that will give you approximately that. So what will arrow now be? Arrow will be the cube root of what? 86 centimeters. So how do you get that answer now? So you look at that, and that will be, it will be more than 4. It will be more than 4. So your answer will shorten between A and what? A and B. So you can figure that one out. Your answer will shorten between A and what? B. Okay, I can test. Now, look at 45. 45 is actually, 4.5 is actually 9 over 2. So that will give me 729 divided by 8. I'm trying to test if the answer is close to 86. And that will give me 90 something. That's almost like 90 something. So this cannot be the answer. So you see where I've checked. It means that the answer is what? Is B. So by my checking, I know that arrow will be equal to what? 4.4 centimeters. So that will be what? B. All right. Now I told you before that you really don't need a calculator when it comes to solving these problems. You can actually mentally look at what you're given and tell what the answer would likely be. All right, that's for 39. So what about 40? What is 40 expecting of us? In question 40, if the surface area and the volume, and okay, S is the surface area, V is the volume of a sphere. S is the surface area and V is the volume of a sphere of radius 5. Calculate the ratio of the surface area to the volume. That one is very simple. S to V. What is S? S is 4 pi r squared. What is V? 4 pi r cubed over what? 3. So what this invariably means with that, this will be 1:1/3r. So what then is the ratio? R is given as what? 5. So this will be what? 1:what? 5/3. And that will be what? 3:5. So the final answer is what? 3:5. And that answer will be D. So you see, as some of these questions really don't, there's really nothing in it. So 41, we have this. We have 107, we have arrow, we have S, we have P, we have Q, and we have O. Now you're told to find arrow PS. Arrow PS. That one is simple. For a cyclic quad, arrow PS plus 107 is equal to 180 degrees. What's the reason? Cyclic quad. Cyclic quad. You don't need to bother yourself so much. That's all. So straight away, angle arrow PS will be equal to 180 minus 107, which is 73 degrees. So that's that for that. So these questions are very, very straightforward. Please give. All right. So that will be S P Q 109 degrees. Okay, you are told to find angle PROT. PROT. This is the angle you are told to look for. I am giving this one. So what are you going to do in this setup? Now, with the way the diagram is, you can actually get, let's look at this carefully. Okay, this is closed. You can actually get, draw this very well, sorry about that. Now, what you're looking for now is PRT, this one. And technically, to get this one, you must get this. So let me call here A, let me call here B. Now, we know this. See this angle I've done like this. That will be 90 degrees because this is a semicircle. If a diameter forms a triangle on the circle, this one will be what? 90 degrees. So let me call here C. I seen it. Now, please watch carefully because this is where it gets a little tricky. Look at this angle here. PQROS is a cyclic chord. So let me call here D. So I'll start using notations as in diagram. You're going to observe that 109 plus D will be equal to 180 degrees. What's the reason for that? Cyclic chord. The opposite angles of what? Cyclic chords are what? Supplementary. So that means D will be equal to 180 minus 109, and that will be 71 degrees. You have done that. Now, C is equal to what? 180 degrees, semicircle. C is equal, now look at C, it's this angle formed by this diameter here, semicircle. Now, did I say 180? Sorry about that, it's 90, sorry about that, that's 90, it's 90 degrees. So how do I get B? How do I get B? B is equal to what? C minus D. Look at it. B is equal to what? C minus D. Or you can say B plus D is equal to C. Maybe we'll do it that way. B plus D is equal to C. Huh? So what is that? 90. What is D? 71. So B is equal to B plus 71 is equal to 90, meaning that B is equal to 90 minus 71, and that is 19 degrees. So we got that one. Now, what is A? A is equal to B. A is equal to B. What's the reason? Same segment. What is the same segment here? The same segment they are originating from is what? PT. Same segment, PT. And as such, what is B? 19. So A will be equal to what? 19 degrees. Are you seeing it? This one appears very, very long. And I think this is the most demanding question we've solved so far. And this one comes under circle geometry. So that's how question 42 will be handled. Now let's look at question 43. In 43, you are told that there's a triangle. P is the angle PQR. I think with the way the diagram is given, arrow is the biggest angle there. So this would be arrow, this would be P, this would be Q. That judgment is made from my seeing the angles given me. This would be 35 degrees. This will be 24 degrees. We don't know this angle. We are told that Q is what? 16 cm. We are told to find what? P. So how do we get this angle? We're going to use what is called sine rule. So by sine rule, sine P over P is equal to what? Sine Q over small letter q. What is P? 35 degrees. So sine 35 degrees over P is equal to what is Q? 24 degrees. So sine 24 degrees over what is small letter q? Is what? 16. So you make P the subject of the formula. P is equal to 16 sine 35 degrees all over what? Sine 24. I'll leave it at that. I will expect you to use your calculator to do that. That's one question where you need your calculator. You need your calculator. Just one of those exceptions. But if I put in the value, if I have my forgotten but I put in the values, I can actually look at the question. Because it's OBJ, that's the advantage. I can look at the option and tell, okay, this is what the answer will likely be. And you need to train yourselves to be able to handle things like that. You should be able to tell, look at the question and tell, okay, what would the answer likely be? All right, so I won't finish that one up. I will leave you to finish that one up because I don't have a calculator to finish it up. So once you finish it up, whatever you get becomes the value of what? P. All right, question 44, 2 more questions to go. The position of 2 points A and B on the earth are given as what? This one is for A, and this one is for B. All right. It says find the distance apart along the great circle. Now, if you watch carefully from this question, their longitudes are the same. And longitudes will give rise to what is called great circles. But their latitudes are not the same. So what that invariably means is that the measurement is on a great circle. So the distance apart on 30E, because that's where you're going to calculate that, will simply be equal to what? 65, since it's the same place, you subtract 65 minus 20 over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times, what is the radius of the earth? 6,400. So this will give me 45 over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times 6,400 over 1. So what do we do? This will go here, you have 8. This will go here, you have 1. This will give me 2, 1, 11, 3,200. So that would be 11 times 3,200 over 7. So what would the answer be? You multiply this to this will give me 35200 divided by 7. And that will give me the answer will be in the neighborhood of 5 what? 0 what? 2 7 what? Kilometers. You see, if this were to be having been an OBJ exam, and it's an OBJ exam, I won't waste my time. Once I get 5 0, I don't need to check the others. And that's one of the ways you can really finish very quickly in an OBJ exam. Once you've gotten the first 2 digits, my friend, shade and move to the next question. It can't be wrong. Once you get the first 2 digits, shade up and move to the next question. All right, so that settles question 44. So the last question we're going to handle, for this morning, will be, we are told to calculate without using tables cos 45 degrees, rather cos 60 degrees plus tan 45 degrees. We are told to find them. Now, to do this question very well, you must have a strong knowledge of what is called standard angles. Now, what is cos 60? Let's see the answer. What cos 60 is what? Half. What is tan 45? Is what? 1. You should know these things. You should have them at your beck and call. And that will be equal to what? 1 over 1 over 2. And the answer is what? B. This answer for this is what? B. Okay, so we have been able to cover another 15 questions. But please bear in mind that in an exam setting, you ought to be faster than this. The reason why we are taking pains to slow down is that we want to help you to see certain areas that you need to see as you solve the questions. So it's both serving as a class to help you solve the question and also to revise the topics and to identify them. So I'll trust that you've gained something from our class today with Mamu, and then Mamu Ujavis will return, and then tomorrow we're still going to have another class where we would clear up this episode of NECO OBJ 2020. So I'll leave you for now and trust you'll do well with what you've learned.